Hi everyone, my name is Mihaela Mihuds. I am a proud lifetime member of the Actor Studio and an international acting coach. I am so thrilled for my podcast, Hey Stella, and our journey together celebrating life and the professionals who must deal with life in depth, the actors. They must live it truthfully in the fictional stories. They must not pretend. So, yes, acting is living truthfully. Acting is being real. Acting is being honest. Let's go. I'm so excited to do not the interview this week because I don't have a guest. And it's okay not having a guest and still continuing to do what I'm doing. It's helping me with repetition, is helping me with getting better at what I'm doing, and it's helping me with discoveries that I don't even have in my mind right now. But I'm sure that by the end of the episode, I'm going to discover something that I haven't even thought about. What's so exciting about this last week is that there's a couple of things that have taken place in the world, and my creative mind cannot help but think always of acting and how these things are connected. I have just watched the first episode of the series on Netflix, Squid Game. I don't know if you guys have watched it. Squid Game, it's a South Korean Netflix series that's been on for some time. And I believe they're saying right now that it's the number one, the most watched. They have about 100 and I don't know how many millions people in 90 countries. You have to watch it if you haven't. I have not seen the rest of it. My excitement was so over the top that I could not help but come and do this episode so I can talk a little bit about the director, the creator of this series. He is South Korean. I've just read an article about him and discovered that it has taken him 10 years to be able to get one of the studios, one of the production companies to do it. It has taken him 10 years to be able to get one of the studios to believe in the script. 10 years. He based the majority of the characters on his personal life. Some of the characters, 2 or 3 of the characters, are based on the different aspects, elements of his own humanity. Personal merged with imagination, which is what we talk about all the time. That is a required formula for creativity. But to hear that he now has the most watched series ever on Netflix, with countries, over 90 countries watching, with over 100 million people watching. What does that say? What does that say about someone who has a vision that's not being understood at first because it's a futuristic vision? A visionary is a person who thinks in the future. A person who's a visionary, like this director, had to have an understanding, a concept of the story that he wanted to tell. The majority of people, when presented to them, I'm sure had no idea of its meaning, because majority of the people are not that smart. He did not give up for so many years. He did not give up. He had to live with his mom because he could not afford to live on his own. He had to live with his mom because he could not live on his own, because he was financially broke. But what he did was he never gave up the vision. He knew that the right production company, the right people are going to come and understand it at some point. And 10 years later, he was able to make the most watched series, Squid Game, on Netflix. I just started watching it. I was shocked. I was impressed. I was blown away. It is exceptional. It is a creativity that requires for somebody to understand how a concept that had to do with his unique childhood in South Korea, that unique, specific, authentic childhood, which we also talk about all the time and in our episodes, the importance of it, the importance of bringing the personal, specific, original story of who you are, because only then that specific original story, authentic, will become universal and understood by everybody, no matter the language. Because right now it is being translated in 90 different languages. His name is, the director creator's name is Hwang Dong-hyuk, South Korea. Bravo to him. What an amazing story was he able to allow to happen in his creative brain, and then put it in practice and execute it when nobody had the trust in him to do it. Exceptional for someone to be able to still believe when everybody else does it, when everybody else says, no, that's not going to work. I don't understand what that has to do with what's going on in the world. Why would anybody watch such a story? Why would anybody care about your personal childhood from South Korea and the children games that you used to play? But then what he did, he gave it a twist. He gave it a big twist, which that's what I'm talking about. He gave the stakes of those games, which in childhood, when they were played by him with his neighborhood friends, did not have stakes as high, because if you won the game, it didn't mean that anything would have happened of a grave situation. It was, you are the loser and the other person is going to be the winner. So those were the stakes. You become the winner, you're the loser. Everybody's going to know that you won the game. Okay, winner, winner, winner. That's a big thing for a child. But now for him to play the same games with adults, with his characters in his story, and to give the stakes as it is required in every scene of any script, he gave the stakes to be life or death situations. Childhood games played by adult people with the stakes of life and death situations. I don't know if you remember, but the previous or the episode before, we were talking about how the training of the actor is so social and emotional, and it requires for us to be psychologists to a level, to be able to understand our human condition, to be able to understand each other as people. Actors are the professionals that deal with that the most. So for him to understand that, and for him to bring that into the story of this sensational series is just exceptional. Bravo to him for sticking to it. Bravo to him for his originality. Finally, there's something to watch that's not being copied, that's not being taken from somebody from before and adapted into a new version because they can't think of an original story, authentic story. Here's this young director who until recently was living at home with his mom because nobody would believe in his extraordinary vision, because the majority of the people are too imbeciles. Yes, I'm going to say it. They're imbeciles. I said it for lack of a better word. I am so excited to go and to watch the rest of it. I cannot wait. Bravo, bravo. Finally, excitement. There's still people out there who believe that originality counts. There's still people out there who will understand when someone has a vision that's not yet maybe for them understood. The people in positions who are able to actually produce such a series. He found the right people finally after so many years, and he was able to do it. You must watch it. You must watch it. Another thing that was happening in this week, was the going into outer space of Captain Kirk of Star Trek, William Shatner, the actor who's 90 and now is known to be the oldest man to have gone into outer space in the spaceship that's built by the billionaire Jeff Bezos, who, with so much money, again, bravo to him that he had another vision to do all the things that he had done to make him the billions of dollars that he was able to make, and put William Shatner into space, into outer space, outside of our atmosphere of our beautiful planet Earth. That happened just a few days ago. It was all over the news. The media covered it. And what struck me the most was that when they came back, I think they were up there for about 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. They experienced loss of gravity. They experienced I can only imagine, extraordinary vision of the beautiful planet Earth, which is where we humans live on. Our address, we're so lucky to have the address as planet Earth. Imagine that if you were a different planet, which I know they're trying to get to. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but what struck me the most was the fact that when he came back, when they actually came back to Earth, the media was focusing on the moment that they consider to be the most outstanding out of the whole experience, that of William Shatner, who's an actor, and his overwhelming emotion when he was asked, coming back, to describe what he is feeling and how the trip felt for him. As an actor who's done a lot of work over the long career that he's had, his instrument was completely open. So his emotion was very visible. He wasn't holding it back. And it was very profound. He even called the experience to be profound. But what captured the entire world was the fact that his emotion was revealed in how this extraordinary opportunity to be on the other side of our planet, to be in the outer space, and to be able to understand how we have this amazing, beautiful place where we as human beings live on, and what it means to be a human being, and what it means to be a person of his age, to have been given this opportunity by Jeff Bezos. He started to cry when he was describing it. He even was trying to gather his thoughts as much as he could. He was in the moment reacting visibly with human emotion, which I, as an acting coach and as an actress myself, have seen such extraordinary moments of revelation so many times. And I've always said to myself, and I've always said to other people, and I've always shared with those actors that were able to allow themselves to express who they are, that these are powerful emotions, that people, all people in every kind of profession would gain out of them so much if only they would understand that acting goes beyond the fact that you learn how to act. I've been saying that over and over and over again, and no one seems to get it. And it drives me completely insane because they don't have the insight into that which I just described. So how is it possible that people on all these platforms who have a following of millions of people, they have been journalists, they have been entertainment people, they have been, I don't know what else, are still taken aback and are being surprised and are being moved themselves to tears by the tears of William Shatner expressed after such a formidable experience in his life. It still drives me insane to think that after so many years acting as a profession and what it does and the profound impact that acting has on the understanding of each other is yet to be understood and not be misunderstood. And given the reputation that it is being given, even by those people who pretend to know what they're talking about. There's people who are doing segments on different television shows and they think that they know. They are taught to understand acting so they can ask questions of actors and of people with creative mind, like the ones of the director of Squid Game. And they're asking the most stupid questions. They're asking questions like, how was it to be able to interpret a character that's not you? How is it possible for you to play a role that's so different than who you are? Who asks those stupid questions? It's okay for people who don't understand acting and don't pretend to understand acting to speak those questions, but it's not okay for those people that are making a lot of money because that's their profession to ask. And those are the questions that you get from them. Because they don't understand that as actors, we are more than just using interpretations and putting interpretations into characters that we play that are not ourselves. We are ourselves because we play those roles. We are not other people when we go to play characters. We bring ourselves, but we don't just bring the self that's visible. We don't just bring the one personality that's visible to our friends in our life or to other people in everyday life. We have to dig. We have to dig inside ourselves in order to tap into our human spirit like no other professional, to be able to bring diverse, unexpected, surprising, different selves, so we can then lend those to the characters that we're playing. So it's not, how can you play a character that's not yourself? It's not yourself, the character. You have to search inside of yourself for that which you did not even know that it is yourself. You have to search inside of yourself to find that which you did not know that you are like, to be able to bring to the character. So it's not like you're playing something that's not you, because you're bringing it from you. It's you. But the digging in, the training, the education that the actors are doing is so valid for every other person on this earth, for the earth, because we're speaking about the planet, to become a better place, that it's I just want to scream at the top of my lungs and explain that to people. And I still can't get it across. I cannot get it across. Not only can I not get it across, but they're looking at me like something's wrong with me. And they're looking at me as if I have no idea what I'm talking about. No idea what I'm talking about, because they understand acting is about, let's play the scene. Let's get into the situations that are given to us by the script and let's play them. Play the scene. Playing the scene. This takes me back from William Shatner to his explosive emotional expression, which captivated everybody. And I'm not saying it was beautiful to watch, but at the same time, for people to be all taken aback and to be amazed of what the expression this man has in the way that he's appreciating this amazing event that he was offered. He's an actor. He's been an actor for his entire life. He's able to express it because his instrument himself has been tuned all his life. So he's different than Jeff Bezos, who was standing next to him when he was asking the questions. And he's different than the astronauts who are feeling probably the same feelings that William Shatner was feeling, but they don't allow themselves to express it publicly. They might express it somewhere away from the cameras because society doesn't allow for them to be expressive and to cry, because that, I'm sure, they think might take away from their training as astronauts, which is completely stupid to think. We, first of all, before we are anything, before we are astronauts, before we are actors, before we are doctors, before we are mechanics, before we are nurses, before we are humans. And the conditioning, the society's view of how we should be for so many years was suffocating us to be a certain way, to conform to different boxes that we are put in to be politically correct. So then when someone like William Shatner is able to come publicly and be seen by millions of people and express his humanity, expressing it himself, and then the director expressing it through the characters and his story that's personal to him, on top with the imagination, because he's a creator. When we see shows like that, or we see moments as William Shatner demonstrated, we all are amazed by it. And what's so sad to me is the fact that we are amazed by it, because I think that those kind of expressions and those kind of moments kept private by majority of the people, because they are not made to believe that they are allowed to present them. Those kind of expressions should have already been accepted by society. I don't know why they're not, and I don't know why they haven't been made available. I don't understand, because when you know that those tools from the training of the actors are tools that are going to make the society a better society and do things that are going to unite us as people rather than make us hate each other. So it's all for the objective that is a positive objective, that which is to unify, to look at other people that we meet who might not look like us, who might not understand the same language that we speak. We might not understand each other, but because they are not afraid to present who they are as humans, then we all can relate to that, because our humanity is a shared one. We share it. No matter that it happens in South Korea, no matter that it happens in America, we are connecting ourselves and are connected through our humanity, because at the bottom of all things, we are humans. I'm not screaming because I'm upset. This is something that I tend to do when I get to be passionate about something and I get rash from it. My beautiful darling Jeremy reminds me of it, and I know I need to calm down, but I think I'm just so, I think I just want to make my point. And I think that sometimes I tend to push people away rather than bring them close, because I get so passionate. And this is one of those expressions which, again, people are not used to. Raising one's voice is considered to be a sign of anger. I'm not angry. I'm not angry with anyone. I'm not angry with the people that I'm talking to. I'm not angry with myself. I am so excited and I'm so passionate about what I'm sharing with you. And I'm frustrated, which is not the same as anger. I'm frustrated because I know the importance and I know the goal that it can provide. What is the objective? What is the objective of the shuttle going in the outer space? What is the objective? What is the objective of the director of Squid Game to fight for so many years to tell his story? What is it? The same objective one has to ask of himself as the actor portraying a character. So for example, if I'm reading a script and I have a scene where I have my partner in the scene, the other actor, let's say the scene is about I meet this other person for the first time. I'm going to take it from my personal life to do the same, to kind of give a relevant example of what the director was doing with bringing his personal life into the series that he created, plus the imagination. If right now I were to create a scene about everything that I've described to you so far, and I would imagine that the scene would be between me. Hi, my name is, let's just call myself Maria. My name is Maria. I have this vision in my head, and I am given the opportunity to pitch it. I'm given the opportunity to pitch it to a production company, to a head of a studio. His name is John. What is my objective? I have to ask the question, right? As if this was a scene. I just said it. My objective is to sell my script, to sell my vision. I go into the room, I sit down, the secretary closes the door, she tells me to wait for the person to come into the office. What do? I'm nervous, I'm anxious. The next question that I ask myself, what would happen if I do not reach my objective? What would happen? What is the loss if the objective to sell, to pitch my story, my vision, my series, as in the case of the director, the South Korean director, the loss is I would not get it made. He says, no, I'm not interested. I don't see the vision. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't understand that people are going to be interested in it. I don't believe it. I don't believe in it. It's not going to happen. What does that mean that the loss for the vision to be shared means? What does it mean? It means all of that which my vision would bring to the world, in order for the millions of people to watch it the same way that they're watching the Squid Game. Millions and millions and millions of people all over this globe, all over this beautiful planet Earth are watching it and are feeling that they can connect to the storytelling. They can connect to those characters, even though they are from South Korea. So they are visually seeing themselves in those characters. They're identifying with those characters in different ways, through the different situations that are being portrayed in this genius director's script and story. What does that do on a bigger scale? What does it do on a bigger scale? It makes us realize that we are more connected than not. Like I said before, it makes us all understand that we're not as different as the politicians are trying to make us believe that we are, because they're only going for their own gain and power. So the relevance of having something done, and going back to this director, the relevance of fighting for his story to be told for 10 years makes sense, because the goal was one that he understood was so much bigger than himself. The goal was that he was going to bring something to the society globally, where all of us are not going to care about the language being different. We're not going to care about the look being different, but we're all going to take in those moments that connect us all over the globe. So he applied the same questions that actors ask of themselves when going into the roles they're playing, into the roles they are portraying. He was smart enough to realize that he can apply those same questions and answers in the way that he wrote the story, which is brilliant. which is something that I have been saying for so long, but I've been saying it to myself because to the people that I'm trying to get this through to, they will not understand that. And they ask questions like, how? How is that going to happen? What do you mean that's what you want to do? What do you mean that's what you want to do? Huh? What? No, but I don't think anybody, why would anybody understand the show that this director came up with, which has to do with child games, then played by adults in the miniseries? So it's his child games from his personal life in South Korea, played by adults in the miniseries with the stakes so high that they are between life or death. Nah, that doesn't sound like a great idea. That actually sounds like I don't know if anybody's going to understand. Why would anybody understand? Of course, that's a genius idea. Of course, that's a brilliant idea for only some people to understand. But you know, I cannot believe that he actually never gave up. And I would only suggest to those people that have the power to make those decisions of distribution, to make those decisions of production, that they do not have to give themselves the full understanding when they see something, because they will not be able to. But take a risk with somebody like that director. Don't let other directors to try to get their idea across for 10 years. Give them a chance, because they might just surprise you. They might just surprise you and create another Squid Game series if you just would not be afraid. But even if you were afraid, let the fear happen, then give those people a chance, because you might be surprised in the end. Acting is in everyday life. Acting and the training and the education that the professionals, the actors, must put themselves through are required. I'm talking about the great ones, because there's a lot of mediocre, stupid ones that I don't want to talk about. This show is not about stupid actors. This show is about great actors. They have to request of themselves to be responsible with an instrument that is so tuned, that is so found, and that they continue to explore themselves. Talk about exploration in the space, outer space, other planets, exploration of the self. There's so much to be explored here that it doesn't stop until life stops on this planet. How amazing is that? That actors know that they have to do that. How extraordinary and how fun is it to know that you continue to find things about yourself for the rest of your life, and it never stops if you want to. That education, that training, shouldn't that be a manual for every human being? Who teaches these kinds of things to children in schools? They're starting to. There's some companies now that are smart enough to understand that in order to teach people from their youth how to be better when they grow up as adults, you have to let them know how to understand themselves as humans, so then they can experience and know how to navigate themselves, their instrument, when life comes at them. They are more prepared. That's what actors are taught, to be prepared to take on life, to take on different lives. Fictional, because some of them are fictional, some of them are real, some of them are mixed, personal and fiction, but they have to learn how to navigate those lives with the only instrument that they have, which is the self. Why wouldn't this be the closer to a life manual out there? I don't know any other life manual that's close to what I'm just talking about. If you do, then please recommend it to me, because I would like to read it. I don't know how algebra is going to help me. I don't know how geography is going to help me. And I'm not saying take those away from the education system, but on top of that, why hasn't someone taught me since a young age how to learn more about how to deal with the many facets that I have as a human being? Don't you think that's something that would be better for people to know how to do and to be able to do? I do. Chris Cuomo. Oh, Chris Cuomo. You know, he knows so much about everything, and I do respect him as a journalist, and I watch his show, Cuomo Prime Time, and it's extraordinary to watch him. And I like that he's an individual and he goes after what he believes in. But to see even this guy who's a cultured man, who's working on, you know, CNN, one of the best platforms out there, and to see him and to present William Shatner and that moment after he arrives back to Earth and his emotional outburst, and for Chris Cuomo to be watching like a little child and to say, I think this is the most exceptional moment out of the entire space travel event that happened today, going there, coming back. The most extraordinary moment is the humanity of William Shatner in full display. This is somebody like Chris Cuomo. So this man, it's not like he hasn't been an observer of what humanity is. He's been traveling the world, reporting the news. He's seen the bad, the good, and the ugly. But when he saw that humanity that was shown publicly, that majority of people would keep for private living only, when he saw that, he was so moved, as was everybody else. And I was watching and I was thinking, if they only would have seen all of the extraordinary demonstrations of humanity that I've been privileged and grateful to have seen in over 15 years, 20 years in my acting career as an acting coach, all over the world, from Kuwait to Greece to Estonia to Romania to America to England to the next one is going to be another planet. The only thing, I'm not rich enough to be able to be offered a spot to take a travel into the outer space. That's another thing. Yeah. William Shatner, bravo. He's had a career. He's done everything. I'm sure he's a wonderful man. Jeff Bezos, the same, great. You know, this is for the evolution of humankind, having the millions, having the billions to be able to explore other planets and all that's happening. But at the same time, I think it was Prince William, I just read somewhere that he said something about, before we go into outer space and consider living somewhere else other than planet Earth, let's just try to do better for this planet. Let's just try to do better for the people living here, because there's a lot of need to make things just a little bit more fairer, because things are not fair. Things are very upside down. There's a lot of gaps between people. There's a lot of gaps in financial status, in so many different things. So like Prince William said, you know, I think we should consider doing a lot more for planet Earth, taking into consideration what William Shatner said about it when being able to watch it from out there, and he was looking down and he was blown away by the beauty of it. Beauty of it. If the beauty of it is so extraordinary, then the beauty of our humans living on it are as extraordinary. So let's do better. Let's do better for each other first. Or at least let's try. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. This is just my passion in the way that I speak, that takes on a different expressive version of the way that I talk. So for those people out there who think I'm too, I said I was going to talk about the animal exercise. I was doing this, but I still haven't gotten to it. So I promise to get to it. I'm just so happy that I was able to let all of this out. I'm not apologizing for it, because this is part of what we should be allowed to do. For as long as we don't hurt each other, for as long as we don't do any harm to other people, I'm not hurting anybody, because this is the way that I talk. Am I? No, I'm not. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, watch Squid Game. Watch the moment of William Shatner. Chris Cuomo. Thank you so much, everyone.